A fairy's gift.
Once there was a small boy named Carl. On one Christmas Eve,
Ho, 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 ho! Feliz Natal!
a fairy came to see him. She gifted Carl a storybook. She also informed Carl,
You have 1 year to read this book. Next Christmas, I will come to take it back.
and the fairy disappeared. After a year, when the fairy returned to take the book, she found that some of the crisp white pages had turned yellow, and they had blotches too. Carl was puzzled. Then Carl recalled and told the fairy that
How this can happen? I took great care of my book.
Then the fairy explained to him,
It is a magical book. The blotches appeared on the days you were naughty. And it became yellow when you lied to your mother.
Carl felt very ashamed. Fairy explained him that lying is a bad habit, and making our parents upset is even more bad than lying. Then the fairy gave him another book. Then Carl assured the fairy and said,
I promise you that this time you will find all white pages.
With a happy wink, the fairy flew away. Carl decided to be a good boy. The next year, the fairy returned to find Carl's book in perfect condition. She smiled. Remember, kids, honesty is the best magic, so always be good and kind to your parents.
Subscribe to our channel, NamasteNani, for more heartwarming stories you'll love.
An evil witch. A magical fairy. Face to face in jungle.
Kids, one night, forest whispered of magic and wonder. Because there was a beautiful, magical fairy who was lost in that jungle. But that jungle belonged to the evil witch. When the witch was flying, she saw the fairy in her jungle. She got angry and asked,
Why are you here in my jungle? Now you can't go back. To get out, you will have to fight me.
But I don't want to fight.
In that case, you shall remain here.
the witch replied. The fairy smiled and replied,
I was only trying to protect you by not fighting.
Huh, you silly fairy. You can't defeat me. I am stronger than you.
Oh, okay. If fighting is the only way, then I am ready.
And the fight between the evil witch and the beautiful, magical fairy started. Even though the witch tried her best, she couldn't defeat the fairy. The fairy won effortlessly. The witch was hurt, so she ran away and disappeared into the thin air. The witch was never heard of again. The fairies are stronger, even though they didn't appear so. Kids, Always remember, never consider someone weak based on their appearances. Appearances can be beguilingly misleading. Looks are deceptive.
Bye, kids. Subscribe to our channel, NamasteNani, for more interesting tales you like.
Kids, story time. The fairy's boon. Once, in a twinkling land, lived a magical fairy. On one glittery night, the fairy gathered all the children in a little garden. Fairy announced, "Today, children, I am going to give you all a boon. This boon is very beneficial. Today, whatever you think and wish for will come true." With those words, the fairy vanished. The children were very happy and excited. They were all surprised. But one boy amongst all remarked, "Rubbish thoughts can't do anything." And he continued to think about all the nasty things. And all others immediately started thinking of good things. Everyone's thoughts came true, including those of the nasty boy. While his friends got many wonderful things, he got nothing. The boy sat alone, surrounded by the joyous sounds of his friends playing with their magical gifts. With a feeling of regret, he finally understood the fairy's words. The boy learned a valuable lesson that day. Thoughts, both good and bad, has a power to shape the world. So kids, always remember, good thoughts bring happy results. Bye kids. Subscribe to our channel, NamasteNani, to hear more beautiful tales of culture. Kids story time. Kids, do you know why lying is a bad habit? This little fairy tale will let you know. There was a boy named Danny. He has a bad habit of lying. And the main issue with him was that he enjoyed lying. And he always tried to escape from important things by lying. One night, a fairy visited him in his dreams. Fairy warned Danny,
You have been lying too much. From tomorrow, whatever you lie about will come true.
When Danny woke up, he decided not to worry about the dream. He did not want to go to school. He says,
My stomach is aching, Mom. It hurts. I don't want to go to school.
And as warned by Fairy, his stomach actually started aching. And he spends the whole day in pain. He understood his lesson and improved his habits and stopped lying. And the fairy was happy. So kids, we should be careful about what we say. Sometimes what we say actually happens. Choose your words wisely and always be positive.
Subscribe to our channel, NamasteNani, for more heartwarming stories you'll love.
A lonely ghost. Kids, once there was an isolated mansion. Nobody lived there except one lonely ghost. And that mansion has been vacant since long ago, as nobody wanted to live there. The ghost was very sad and lonely because he was all alone and no one was there with him. So one day his friend came on a visit to meet him. He was concerned to see him this way, so he asked,
"Why are you so lonely, my friend?"
The lonely ghost said,
I wasn't always so lonely.
and then he explained the visiting ghost about what happened long ago.
Once, this house was a big and lovely mansion, and one happy family lived here in this mansion. So, I came here for their company. They were wonderful people. But my intentions were not good, as I was very naughty. And I kept troubling them, their workers, and their kids too. So, they moved away, and I have been lonely since then.
Kids, always remember, people will move away from you if you trouble them. You can never be happy if others are hurt because of you.
Thanks for watching. Nani ji, it's story time. What will you tell us today?
Today, children, let's hear the story of a man who could turn things into gold. Once upon a time, there was a king named Midas. Midas was a wealthy king who owned several palaces, and his kingdom's treasures were full of gold. But most of all, he treasured and loved his daughter. One day, Midas found an angel in need of help. He helped her, and in return she agreed to grant him a wish. Midas wished that everything he touched would turn into gold. The angel granted his wish. Midas's excitement knew no bounds. On the way home, he touched rocks and plants, and they magically turned into gold. An overjoyed Midas reached home. In his excitement, Midas hugged his daughter, and she instantly turned into a golden statue. Midas could not believe what he saw before his eyes. He was devastated and started crying out loud, holding and hugging his daughter's statue. Midas went back to where he'd found the angel and requested her to take his wish back. The angel, realizing that Midas had learnt his lesson, agreed and let him go back. Upon coming back, Midas had no sorrows about losing his power. He was rather glad to find his daughter back with him, happily playing around. So, children, all the gold and riches in the world are nothing compared to a life fulfilled with contentment and love. Bye-bye, kids. To hear more beautiful tales of culture, subscribe to our channel, NamasteNani.